Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 190 of the Run in the Paint podcast. I'm Miles here with Ben and Nick. Guys, how are you doing today?
I'll keep the good vibes rolling since we're a man lighter without Joe today. Feeling good, feeling great. Happy to be back with you guys. Miles, you unlocked a new podcast location today. Would you like to tell the viewers what's going on?
Once again, Mother Nature is not being kind to the internet services near my house. So I'm over at the public library. So shout out to the Geauga County Public Library for allowing me to podcast here for today, here in the stomping grounds of Ben and I.
Ben, those are your old stomping grounds. I can't imagine Ben burying his face in books for too long at the Geauga County Public Library. I don't know, maybe that's off.
Yeah, I mean, I used to a bit back when I was in high school around home more often.
Yeah, most of the reading we do nowadays is watching games, essentially. That's our version of reading. And my goodness, we're winding down with the NBA's regular season. Hard to believe we are basically in the final week. We've got 3 episodes remaining in the regular season. We've got this one today where we're going to share some of our favorite moments of the regular season. In our next podcast, we'll be talking about one more look at our tier list that we've been looking at every month of the new year. And then the Run in the Paint Awards show. If you haven't already, make sure to click the link down below to vote for all of the official NBA awards and, of course, the GFF Garbage Fire Franchise Award, because your vote could really sway things that happen. It did for a couple of awards last year, so make sure you vote down below. Thank you to everyone who's already voted. We've got a nice amount of people already, so excited to get it going.
Should be some interesting takes from the fans. I'm expecting an interesting award show this year. I'm very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's get started with POELTL. Nick, who should we start off with today?
A guy that needs more minutes in Indiana, Jay Huff. Put him on the court.
Jay Huff.
Sure.
All right. Eastern Conference, not center, and he's younger. And probably someone that doesn't spam one dunk animation for all of his finishes. You said Bub Carrington?
I said, but yeah, Bub does fit for sure. Lower jersey number. I said, we're doing our award show next week, and I was gonna say like Con Knipple was just the first name that came to mind because I was kind of primed to like think about him because we've been doing the award stuff recently.
It could be it really could be any of those guys. Ben, who do you want to guess for our second one?
How about Con Knipple?
Let's do it. Con Knipple, who just shout out to Con Knipple for breaking the Hornets all-time record for threes made in a season. Incredible stuff. Let's see if we get him. Oh, that would have been awesome if we got him like that in 2. But it's going to be an Eastern Conference 6'7", 6'8" guard/forward that's still young, 21, 22 years old, and wears a very small jersey number in the Atlantic Division.
The Atlantic. Does that include Atlanta?
Unfortunately, no. I always thought it
would.
Yeah. No, this is the Knicks, Nets, Celtics, Raptors, 76ers. VJ Edgecombe? What number is he?
I don't know. He didn't play in the game that we went to versus the Sixers when the Cavs hosted them a couple weeks ago when me and Miles both went to the game. So I couldn't tell you because he wasn't in his uniform that night.
That's frustrating. I should know that jersey number.
I was thinking somebody maybe on the Nets because they have all those young guys they just drafted.
We could go with oh man, but it's a guard forward. I was gonna say like a Danny Wolf, but this will be a guard/forward since the center was not selected.
Ben, do you have an opinion on any of the names that we've said?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't really know. Well, I did just think Colin Murray Boyle's on the Raptors, but I don't know. That might not work.
Yeah, he's number 12.
Yeah,
Let's see. We could definitely get this in 3. We could totally get this in 3.
In between 22 and 20.
I'm thinking.
Oh, that really lowers the jersey number down.
Yeah, it's a super low jersey number.
Hugo Gonzalez on the Celtics. Baylor Shire
28.
played. Baylor
Yeah, those are
Shire.
bigger numbers.
Yeah.
Sixers
What number is Jordan Walsh?
27.
Oh,
Well, I love these. We're cutting out all the high numbers.
hmm.
Forward,
New York?
center, or no, guard forward. Yeah. So Yegor.
I think Yegor's number 8?
I think
Maybe
it's
he's number 0.
Joman or Edgecombe.
Gosh, the VJ Edgecombe jersey number is making me so frustrated because
Could he have gotten a low digit like that on a loaded Sixers roster? Like they got Paul George wears what?
Man.
Maxey wears what?
He's 0.
Lowry's 1 or 2 or 3, isn't he?
Could this be Nolan Traore on the Nets?
I don't think he's that tall.
It's not bad.
Mhm.
You're right, though. It is
Kind
a
of
wing.
what
Oh my
I
goodness,
was
this is taking a
supposed.
while.
I don't know.
Could this be? I don't know what number Drake Powell is, but that's another young rookie.
I think it's Yegor. I'm gonna go with him.
All right, let's try him out. We'll see. Nope, he is number 8.
Oh, not on the Nets. Okay.
6'7", 21, 22-year-old wing player. What is going on? All right, let me look at these teams. Boston, New York, Philly, Toronto.
21 or 22 means that they're not necessarily a rookie. More like a second
Yeah,
or third year.
just a young player. New York, Philly.
This is a tough one.
This is actually extremely tough. Not gonna be Scotty Barnes.
Who's the guy scoring a bunch of points for Brooklyn? The last name Miller.
Unless, I wonder if it is someone that they just signed, like on a
Zaire
10-day.
or no, Zaire Williams. That's what I'm thinking of.
Zaire Williams. We could go with him. We could try him. I think he's been in the league for a little bit, but we could try him. Well, no, he's on the Nets. We can't do that.
No, can't.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
VJ?
Let's just we'll try VJ. We'll go back with our gut and try VJ Edgecombe. Oh my gosh, that's right. He's number 77.
Oh duh.
Oh.
Man, we haven't had a stinker in forever. We need Joey back here quickly to help us.
So Toronto. Grady Dick?
I think that might be right. Yep.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
He changed his number to number 1, and we got him in 5. All right. Let us know. Hopefully you guys got it quicker than in 5 for Grady Dick. But let's move on from that. Let's talk about some NBA games that have happened and some storylines around the league before we get to our favorite moments from this entire regular season. Let's go to Thursday night in Oklahoma City. Let's set the stage where the Lakers and the Thunder were taking each other on here. For the Lakers, they are coming off of an incredibly hot month of March where they finished 15-2, coming off of a very impressive victory over the Cavs. Luka Doncic, dominant. He scored 30 points in 13 games in a row. And it's got a lot of people talking, including us on this podcast. Could this team be a legitimate contender, right? And could they actually be a legit team that could contend for a title? And Ben, they go to Oklahoma City for one of their biggest tests of the season and get completely destroyed, losing 139-96, down 20 after the first quarter, 32 at halftime, around there. Very similar to the first time they played in OKC this season. And Ben, I mean, how tough is this for the Lakers here, coming off of that great month of March, go to OKC thinking that, all right, this is a great, test for us, and they just get waxed by the Thunder.
Yeah, quite a tough night for the Lakers. They were looking improved. I was surprised they get smacked around like that still against the Thunder, even though I know the Thunder's a really good team, one of the best in basketball, but still, I thought the Lakers were going to show up better than that. They just didn't seem to really show up in that game, and it was just struggle for everyone on the Lakers, like including Luca and Reeves, and Luca injured his hamstring, I believe, during the game. That was unfortunate and not good. And the Thunder, credit them, found a way to just dominate on both ends of the floor.
I would say, from my perspective, there was three main things I took away from the game. Uh, Bronny James is not a point guard. Never probably will be. I don't know why they did that to him at the end of the game. That's my biggest question is like, why would they do that to him at the end of the game? I know giving him an opportunity and whatnot, but obviously wasn't ready to like handle the ball against the best team in the league, against like a all defensive player like Kason Wallace, and like the Thunder still had a lot of their rotation players in at that point. So giving him the ball in that situation was really weird to me. The other part of it, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but when Luka got hurt, like you said, like a fan was barking at him about not playing defense, and then Austin Reeves immediately like stood up for him and said, "Hey, he's hurt right now. Like, have some respect." And I don't know, that was an interesting part of the game as well. I thought it was really cool to see Austin Reeves like have that reaction, like stick up for his teammate. LeBron kind of stood there like a security guard the whole time, just making sure everything was all right. I don't know. But I heard someone saying like don't interact with him or whatever. I don't know if he was talking to Austin or talking to the fan, but like I said, I really think Austin's reaction was uh, cool to see and like the right thing to do in that situation for your teammate. The last thing kind of goes along with that. Like you said, the Lakers are hot coming in 15-2. You've been building this sort of identity for themselves, and when you get beat by 40 points, even though it's against like the best team in the league, that's gonna shake some things up. So what they have to do is ask themselves, look in the mirror, retool, and like go forward rather than like letting this stall them out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like you mentioned, the Reeves sticking up for Luca. Unfortunately for the Lakers, that's about the only highlight they got out of this one. Like you just feel like I've mentioned shout out to Brett, the fake BA we like to call on here, the Lakers fan that
The
I have.
Lakers fan.
And we've been watching these games and talking about how well the Lakers have been playing, and we both watched the first time they played in OKC way back in like November when they were down by 30 at halftime. The game was over by then. It was non-competitive at all. And that seemed like such a long time ago. And the Lakers have made such big strides to get in the right direction to become a legitimate contending team. So before the game, we're texting and I'm like, this will be a great test. This should be way more competitive than the first game because, the Lakers have come so far. And I think everyone universally is feeling the same way about this. And for it to go down like a 40-point defeat trail by nearly 50 points in the game, I mean, that's just disheartening for a Lakers team that is trying to find their confidence. And you wonder if a result like this could take it all away again, if this is something that, like you said, Nick, if this will bring them down to right back where we thought they were before, a team that just turns the ball over, relies on ISO ball, can't get stops defensively, and it ends up costing them in the playoffs.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're professionals and they should be able to like handle adversity. You would think, but then again, everything is a different kind of variable, especially when you're dealing, or I mean, like you don't know what's going to happen, I guess, and it's a different sort of situation with Luca and LeBron, kind of it being like a little fragile or whatever. Like you don't know how this team's going to react to stress, but they got stressed out by that OKC fan in the front row, and they had a pretty good reaction from Austin Reeves, like I said. So, like you said, that was a highlight. That was maybe their only highlight, but it was still, I think, an indication of like the fact that going 15-2 and clawing your way up in the Western Conference maybe wasn't all just smoke and mirrors, and like they have sort of built a bit of an identity and chemistry and a willingness to rely on each other rather than try and do it all themselves and turn it over and that sort of thing. But it's a fragile situation with LeBron, and like I said, I don't know how they're going to react to stress, but that's just what I saw. It was a good indication from Austin Reeves that from the stress that they did face. It wasn't a good indication from the on-court perspective, I guess, from the stress that they faced from the Thunder, but
Yeah, Ben, what do you think about this from the Lakers' perspective here? I mean, they do get to play the Thunder one more time on Tuesday. They get to host that game against OKC. It's kind of a situation, though, where the Lakers, with that, are essentially locked into really being the 3 seed. If you think, I mean, they are a game ahead of Denver, but they have the tiebreaker. The Luka Doncic injury throughout from that game, we're still awaiting the results from the MRI today to hear if he is going to miss any time, what that could mean. Ben, what do you think is the mindset for the Lakers for this final week of the season?
Well, I think that game against the Thunder is a wake up call for them, and I agree with Nick on that. They're professional, they got some good experience there. Like LeBron James is there, he's experienced it all. Like they're gonna try to figure it out, and I think the Lakers with this whole Luca thing. Like I know it's unfortunately, not sure if he'll be able to qualify for All NBA, but they're gonna want to be cautious with Luca here in this last week. With, I mean, I think they should be. You want him healthy and ready to go for the playoffs. You can't afford to have him banged up then at all. And I think they looked to improve over this last week of the regular season and see if they could get some good momentum for the playoffs, but should be cautious, I would say. And I think if they end up staying in the free seed and getting that for the playoffs, that would be a good seeding for them going into the whole playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean it's huge for them being in that position because they get the whole week off with the play-in tournament again to try to get the rest for Luca. Yeah, I mean you hope that he doesn't miss the All NBA credentials like so many other players have by just barely missing that games played threshold. But yeah, I mean we'll see what this means for the Lakers going forward. I mean, but for the Thunder, they just keep on rolling. They continue to show that they are, it's another level. You got the Lakers who are, a very good team, and the Thunder are just an otherworldly, amazing team that can do so many different things on both ends of the floor. And just put together a performance like this, when they're at full strength, it really is impressive. And I think a performance like this really showcases again that when it matters, they can really turn it on like this. And I think for a lot of people, if they do not win the title this year, it will be a major disappointment.
I agree. Well said.
Yeah. So great win by the Thunder again, defeating the Lakers 139-96. Hope that Luka is all right, and we'll see what that means for the Lakers going forward here. Some other injury-related news in the Western Conference, but on a bit of a positive note, is that Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, after being out for the last couple months here, is expected to return on Sunday when the Lakers take on when the Warriors take on the Houston Rockets. And this, Ben, is obviously a big return for a Warriors team that, as you've seen with the standings, have basically been down in 10th place for a majority of this stretch. They've gone 9-18 without Steph so far. And right now it looks like they're locked into playing 10. So, Ben, what do you think this can do for the Warriors?
Well, I think it, of course, elevates them. It's, nice relief a bit being able to get your star player back, at least when you've been banged up just recently with multiple guys out of the lineup and relying on these younger guys to step it up. But it'll definitely, help having Steph out there, being able to, be more competitive and I'm just excited, to see Steph since he's still one of the funnest players to watch when he's out there. And I mean, if Steph can get hot, say, when he returns and into the play tournament, you never know. The Warriors could maybe sneak into the playoffs as the 8th seed. So they'll be an interesting team when Steph returns. And I'm going to keep my eye on how they do.
Yeah, Nick, question for you, and I'll throw it back to Ben as well. With the Warriors being in the 10th seed in the play-in tournament, they'd be in the 9-10 game, so they'd play the 9th seed, which is right now the LA Clippers, and they've gone back and forth with the Portland Trailblazers for that spot over the last few weeks. If you're the Warriors, who would you rather play in the play-in tournament, Portland or the Clippers?
I think it's definitely Portland. I mean, they're the less experienced team in terms of playoff games. Darius Garland had a great stint in Cleveland with the Cavs. Went to three playoff season. Went to the playoff 3 seasons in a row, I think, with them. And obviously, Kawhi is a multiple-time NBA Finals MVP. I think he's got 2 of those things. So, yeah, I would not want to play them in the first round. They've been playing really well lately. They obviously had a terrible start to the year, and they've been above 500 for the last couple months. Meanwhile, I think Portland's sort of been around 500 the entire season or just below it. So, that's a middling team that hasn't proven that they can win. I would definitely take Portland. Portland.
Ben, would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Just with the experience, like experience matters in the postseason, and I've seen this year, Kawhi coming up clutch multiple times for the Clippers when it's close, and yeah, the Warriors will still having some good experience could figure some things out, to you know get the job done against the young but exciting young talent Trailblazers team.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's pretty tough. I mean, I think that whichever team plays the Warriors in that game, I think they would probably be favored just because of all the injuries that the Warriors have had. It's just been so tough for them with Butler out, the terrible Moses Moody injury. But I could see a world where both teams provide problems. I mean, the Clippers, of course, with Darius Garland, who's been playing amazing for the Clippers since the trade, and then you mentioned Kawhi before, Nick. And Portland, just an incredible defensive team that's gotten an all-star year from Denny Abdia, a most improved player candidate. And quietly, Shaden Sharp has had a very good second half of the year to become a legitimate 20-plus point per game scorer. And both teams provide problems for the Warriors, but where I think the Clippers could potentially be the better matchup is that Darius Garland is, such a valuable piece for them and has to be on the floor offensively. And he is someone that the Warriors could target defensively, which is something that I don't think the Trailblazers really have. I mean, we've talked about it ever since, really their run in the second half of last year and in our predict and really talking about them all this year. They are such an amazing defensive team, and they put 5 really good defenders out there at all times. So on the perimeter, Steph Curry would have to see Drew Holiday, Tamani Kamara, Denny Abdia, Matisse Thybulle if he comes in off the bench. CD Sissoko is a nice defensive player. There's no real advantages fully that you can exploit if you're going at the Blazers defense. The Clippers do have, a Darius Garland who is going to be on the floor in those moments that you could target.
Yeah, I didn't really consider that. That's definitely a good point. Could be a better matchup for them. But at the end of the day, they got to win 2 games to get a date with the Thunder, which obviously isn't a great chance. But I'll say this: Steph is, I believe his words are, "I want to play meaningful basketball games at the end of the season." And if you win those 2 games, you get that matchup with the Clippers. You attack Garland, and then you find a way to win against the Suns, or I don't know who they're playing in the 7-8.
Or Trailblazers,
Whichever of the Clippers Blazers aren't the Knights.
Right.
You win 2 games, and then say you split the first 2 games versus OKC. That would have to be your goal. All of a sudden, Game 3, everybody's watching. Like that becomes a very important game late in the season. That's like what you have to do. That would be Steph's path to doing that. So win those 2 games and then split the first one against OKC. That would become a very interesting Game 3 for Steph to like if he's gonna bet on himself being the best in that big of a moment, like which I'm sure he's still willing to do. Like that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because all those teams have their own incentives to make the playoffs. So every team's going to be playing their hardest. You'd expect to try to make it because you mentioned Nick, Steph Curry wants to be playing valuable playoff basketball still at this point of his career. For the Blazers, a young team that wants to experience that for the first time. And if you're the Clippers, you own or well, you don't have your own first round pick, and that goes to Oklahoma City. So you'd want to make the playoffs to ensure that that first round pick that the Thunder get would be pick 15 or whatever, and not in the lottery where most likely would be 14, 13. But there is the slim chance that it can still jump into the top here. So very exciting. Once again, there's the Western Conference standings in the middle. There's the play-in race. It will be those 4 teams in the play-in. It's just really the order of 8 and 9, if it'll be Portland or the Clippers, that'll, really be interesting here to see if, if the Warriors can try to make their way out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up here, we had a bit of news over the last couple of days about the 2026 Hall of Fame inductees class. Only a couple notable NBA guys getting in, with Amari Stoudemire and Doc Rivers. So, Nick, what was your reaction to seeing the news that Amari Stoudemire and Doc Rivers are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I guess I'll fill in as the historian for today's episode since we don't have Joey here to be in that role because he's our usual historian. And I remember last episode, I think he said Amari is one of his favorite forwards to watch back in the late 2010s growing up. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Doc Rivers' time with the Celtics, the teams that he had with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rajon Rondo and Kevin Garnett. Those teams are very prominent in my mind when I think back to like when I first fell in love with basketball and first started getting involved with like really following the NBA because like especially Kevin Garnett and Rajon Rondo just play with so much passion. And I always felt like Doc Rivers really like let them do that and let them be themselves and like built them into the best versions of themselves that they could be. So Doc is he was great with the Celtics. Definitely very deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. And Amari, yeah, Carmelo's partner in crime is how I remember him best. Was never able to like really, or where was he before? I'm sorry,
I'd say
his name
with Phoenix as
That's
Steve
right.
Nash.
Yeah. Having a hard time remembering, I guess.
No, I mean, Amari Stoudemire was definitely one of the more athletic power forwards and big guys out there. It was almost the perfect fit playing in the 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns offense with Steve Nash, the Mike D'Antoni offense. He had the one good year with New York his first year there, and then kind of injuries started to deteriorate his standing. But 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. He had 7 or 8 seasons where he was a 20.9 rebound player. So Ben, definitely a fun player to watch during those years with the Suns, and he had his moments with the Knicks, but overall very solid career. Were you surprised at all though that he did end up making the Hall of Fame?
I was surprised a bit with the Hall of Fame selections. I wasn't like totally sure who's like gonna get in, so I was like, I was surprised like with that, but I think they both deserved it. Like Amari, he was a winning player. He was on some good Suns and Knicks teams we mentioned, and wasn't really like I guess that number one option on a team, but was like guy behind that who was always, pretty good, would provide some good defense and some good athleticism. It had some good scoring games in his career. Then Doc Rivers, like, Nick said a big part why he deserved it was, when he was back as head coach of the Celtics a long time ago, winning that championship 2008, he did a great job, with the talent on that team. And then, of course, as we know, it kind of tailed off from there, but still, it's a good coach of year. It's like, you know, I know the Clippers, you fortunately never made it past the second round with the Lob City Clippers, but still, it's a good season. It was impressive, what he was able to do with talent there still, which was cool. So, yeah, he had a nice, coaching career too. There's a lot of wins as a head coach, which helps with being able to just get in.
Yeah, and I think that something about Doc Rivers is that he was always very good at adapting to whichever era he was in. The era that he coached Boston was different than when he started with Orlando in his career, which is different than when he was with the Lob City Clippers to what he was with now with the Milwaukee Bucks, where obviously, it's the later stage of his career, so he's not doing as good of a job. But the Sixers were still good too, and he did a good job of getting the most out of his teams, I feel like, especially with those Clippers teams after the Lob City ages when it was the Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell teams, which it's crazy to think. Like, I don't know if in today's age that we will ever really see again a team make the playoffs or have nearly 50-win seasons with their two best players coming off the bench. But Doc Rivers did, which is crazy.
When was the time Pat Bev stood up on the table? Was he on the Clippers then?
No, I was on the Wolves.
Okay,
But they had Pat Beverly too. But he instilled a culture to where he could have a team win nearly 50 games with no all-stars and his number one and number two options coming off the bench. That will never happen again at least for a while, just with the landscape of the league today. But I think that just speaks to Doc Rivers' ability as a head coach to get his players on the same page.
Yeah, adaptability, like you said, is the biggest trait for a good coach, I think, and that definitely speaks volumes about it.
Yeah, so congratulations to Doc Rivers and Amari Stoudemire for getting reportedly announced to be inducted into the 2026 Hall of Fame class. Definitely a big honor for those guys. But now let's talk a little bit about us here, how our actual feelings here, the NBA season. With a week remaining in the regular season, I thought it'd be fun to go through really the whole season and each of us come up with a few of our favorite moments of this season. It has certainly been a unique one where we've had a lot of, surprises as far as things happening on the floor, a lot of injuries off the floor, of course, and then some fun podcast moments as well. So who wants to get started with their first moment here?
I'll start us off. And before I start us off, I'll just say if you have any of your favorite moments that we don't mention, definitely list them in the comments below. We'd love to check them out because I think we're planning on overlapping some of them, and we may also miss some of your favorite moments. So let us know what those are. Okay, so this might be my favorite moment of the whole year. It's the first one that came to mind when I tried to think of my favorite moments for the whole year. I have 4 of them, but first is going to be Kawhi scoring 31 points in 12 minutes in the All-Star game, because I was sitting there watching that, and I was shot, like baffled, like jaw to the floor. Like he just kept hitting ridiculous shots. And, leading into the All-Star weekend, it was like, how's this going to go? Should they just kill it? And like Wemby and Kawhi revived that thing with their performances. And I think Kawhi dropping 31 points in 12 minutes is something that like whoever was watching it, they're not going to forget that at the All-Star game. They'll be like, do you remember when Kawhi did that? Anytime someone asks, like, should they cancel the All-Star game, you can just bring that up and say, well, what if this happens again?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a great moment where, I mean, like you said at the end there, it may have saved, the All-Star games for, those events going forward.
Just heard. Who's next?
Let's see. I could go for Joey here because Joey sent me his, and him and I I'll have a lot of the similar ones. So ours kind of overlap a lot as well. I guess the first one that I'll talk about is something that happened on this podcast right around the similar time in February when we were going over our all-star predictions for this season. And we got into a nice little, probably 10, 15-minute debate about Norman Powell versus LaMelo Ball. And that was just such a funny and great debate to have at the time. Norman Powell ends up making it. But I mean that was just hilarious
Yeah, I
at the
told
time.
Joey he didn't watch basketball. I think I told Joey he didn't watch basketball.
Yes. That's one of the all-time debates we've had on this podcast.
Well, he's a more deserving of that title. I stand by that, especially after the second half of the season. In the last couple of weeks, he's just made my case even. Okay, that was your guys' favorite moment.
That's one of our favorite moments. That's for sure. That was hilarious. Ben, you have any comments?
Ben
Yeah,
probably agrees with me now. If he wants to sound smart, he's probably
that was
Nick
like,
was right.
one of the best moments for sure. I mean, I was in the argument, but I was one of those first witnesses, and and I was just getting surprised. I'm like, wait, where are we going? I didn't expect this is how the conversation would turn a Norman Powell and LaMelo argument between Nick and Joey. But
Well, you guys won't let it.
I was there for it, and well, at least turned into good memory that we'll enjoy.
That's right, absolutely. But Ben, how about you? What was one of your favorite moments from the season?
Yeah. Well, I would say, and there's multiple different good moments, but I would say like Dame winning the 3-point contest, like while recovering from that torn Achilles injury. I was like, obviously when I saw Dame was in the 3-point contest, I was surprised, and we were all surprised. And I was like, "Are you sure this is a good idea, NBA? He's recovering from this Achilles injury. Is he really going to be able to do what he's done before in 3-point contest?" And, well, he sure did what he did before a 3-point contest. He still must have been shooting around a lot, and he still won the thing, and that was quite a cool moment. Still, it was a good surprise, a good thing to learn from that.
Yeah, hey, I'll tell you what. How about that all of our moments so far related to all-stars. Like, I think that just speaks margins to that. It's not dead yet. Like, there's definitely still, life in the all-star weekend.
The LaMelo versus Norm debate would be dead because it shouldn't have been a debate in the first place. I cannot believe it's still a debate.
Well, hey, Joey and I, our opinion, we got it right.
Yeah. We'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, we will see what happens next year. But Nick, let's go back to you.
All right, I could kind of do a twofer here. 2 dunks. So 2 of my favorite dunks this season. You guys know I love Gigi Jackson, my boy. Had him 7th overall pick in my mock draft a couple of years ago, and he went in the second round. And ever since then, I'm riding my high horse on the Gigi Jackson train because he's turned out to be better than expected. But he had a great highlight on one end of the court and a terrible highlight on the other end of the court in about 12-second span or so, maybe less than that, because he went down and just no fear, dunked on Wemby. 1-2 off the right leg, I think, with the left hand maybe. It was a nice dunk on Wemby in the lane. And then Wemby's like, all right, bet. You know how he is. He's always looking for the challenge. He isn't going to take that lightly. So he gets the ball. I think he inbounded after it got dunked on, got it right back from the point guard, and then just jogged down. Like I said, it might have been less than 12 seconds later. He just went right at Gigi, and Gigi was late coming over from the help side, got stuck underneath the basket. And I told you he had no fear on one end. He didn't show any fear on that other end either, but I think he might have should have because he got a face full of Wemby. That was one of my favorite moments because it was fun to see Gigi have a really nice moment on top of a reality check too. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that sequence from those two?
Yeah, definitely a comical moment there. I mean, it's exactly what you said. I mean, it goes from, man, I just dunked on Wemby, and then he just comes right back on you. But hey, he dunked on Wemby. That's all he's got to tell his great his children and grandchildren later on.
The second part of the twofer is taking it back to the NBA Paris game when Anthony Black dunked on the entire Magic team. It was like a closing part of it was late in the game. It was under 2 or 3 minutes left. It was a tie game, 107 all, in a charged environment because the NBA games don't happen in Paris very often. So everybody there was locked in. And like I said, it was a close game. It was competitive. You had Franz and Mo Wagner. Well, they're from Germany, not France. So that's not really applicable there. But whatever. It was a close game. It was a good environment. And Anthony Black, I think he got a steal in transition, and 4 Magic defenders were there to contest his dunk, and he put it through on all of them and ended up the Magic ended up winning the game. So it was a huge moment in a late game sequence, and it's just not something you see very often, that 4 guys are in the air while one guy's dunking. He dunked on the Grizzlies. I'm sorry. I kept saying he plays for the Magic. Can't dunk on his own teammates. He dunked on the Grizzlies in Paris.
Yeah, that should definitely be the dunk of the year. If that's an award out there, that should definitely be the number one dunk of the year. Dunking on 4 guys in a close game, that's unbelievable. So yeah, that was just a crazy play. I'll go back to one of Joey's here that I'll combine Joey and I, because we had the one day where Nicky said we went to the Sixers Cavs game. The 3 of us all got to meet up and chat with each other, for a little bit. And then on the way back, Joey and I on the train were catching the Nuggets Thunder game a few weeks ago. That was such a big game for both teams. That was the game where Shea had tied the Wilt record for most consecutive 20-point games. And when Shea is going off and they're just going back and forth, the Nuggets complete their comeback late to try to come back, tie the game, and then Shea comes back, hits the game winner. Joey and I are walking from the train to the parking lot to his car to get back to my car as the game winner is going on, and we're just going crazy in the parking lot of the RTA. Like, it was hilarious and just an all-around great moment because, obviously it's great, around playoff time when, Ben and I are back from school, it's summertime, and we're able to get together, watch these games together. So Joey and I getting a chance to watch a close game between 2 great teams and 2 great players, together, just a really cool, special moment. And definitely one of the big moments from the entire season with Shea making that shot over the Nuggets and Jokic to win that game.
Yeah, he didn't need no push-offs or arm extensions on that shot. Just a little sidestep dribble, just a little. Yeah, I think he should stick with that instead of the Heisman that he tried versus the Pistons.
Yeah, definitely true on that one. Ben, what's another moment for you?
Well, I mean, it's got to be the Bam 83-point game. Oh, my goodness. We all didn't see that coming, of course. And, man, that was just crazy. Like, I was at home, like, during spring break then, that was a great week. That was right after that Thunder Nuggets game, which was another one of my favorite moments, just that battle. But this, like, man, I was watching, Spurs Celtics thinking, well, like, this should be, the highlight game of the night. Like, Celtics Spurs was a big game, two of the better teams in the league. But then, as I was watching that, then like checking my phone, you guys were texting, Bam's got 31 after the first quarter. I'm like, wait, what's going on? 31 after the first quarter. And then, he keeps going crazy. Then like at halftime on the national broadcast station was going on, and the announcers for ESPN couldn't believe it, and like later on in the Spurs Celtics game, the Spurs started pulling ahead, and it was crazy. It was just such a big moment that game ended up coming on like the TV. They just like switched it to that, I guess. And I think BC it was broadcasting that game, and not ESPN broadcasting it, but they switched it on that game, and as he showed the ending of it, it was like, wow, like yeah, the Wizards, was so funny. They were like trying to foul Bam, but Bam was still getting to the free throw line so much. It was crazy, and well, he got 83 points, and well, the Wizards fouled him a lot, helped him, but still just incredible how he pulled off, having the second most points ever in a single game. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
definitely
that's one
deserving.
we will all remember
Yeah.
for the rest of our lives. 83 points.
Still hard to believe.
Yeah, for Bam Adebayo. Still, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Especially since the game, he has not really shot well at all from the field or from three. So he
Well, he
may have
didn't shoot
used
well in the game. He was like 7 of
well,
38 from 3.
well, oh my gosh. No, well, he started off on fire, which is why he was in the position to then take a bunch of shots and then go for the point. But it is still crazy. We will definitely all remember that one.
I only got one more moment, and it was actually the preamble to the moment that Miles described, Shea on sidestep. It was the game leading up to that where we all thought it could end up in a situation like that because of how this game went, and it was when Joker and Dort got into it. And Joker's crazed look in Jalen Williams' face towards the center of the court there. Yeah, that was a memorable moment for me because I never seen that much emotion from Joker in that like sort of setting. So it really just showed, oh dang, he kind of comes off like he doesn't really care, or like is nonchalant, but like to see him like get fired up like that um, was definitely one of my more favorite moments of the season because he's one of my favorite players, and it's awesome to see your favorite players at that level of competitiveness.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, would you I mean that was a crazy time there. I mean, there were a lot of big
Yeah,
fights or scuffles this year, and that was certainly one of them.
that was certainly crazy. Yeah, like it just was a tough fight there. Like Dort and Jokic became like a rivalry there. Started not liking each other. Dort was trying to guard Jokic hard. Really didn't want him, doing much on him. And who knows? The Thunder Nuggets maybe in the second round, possibly with the way things are shaping up, will play each other. We could get more moments of what is looking like it's turning into a rivalry. So yeah, that was great. I would be excited if we got more of that in the playoffs, of course.
Yeah, if we got another series between those two, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that. That would be amazing. I'll go back to one of Joey's here since we're talking about the Thunder here. Joey had Shea breaking the Wilt record of 20-point games in a row earlier, a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, that really is crazy when you think about it. I mean, we talked about it at the time he did break it, how we didn't think it was getting enough sort of press out there about how really impressive it is that he just broke a like 60-year record from Wilt, who like Wilt has so many records that no one will break, at least we think. The fact that one of those got broken and we got to see that happen is really incredible. And, Shea hasn't, there have been a few games where he's come a little close to, having it snap again. But just to be in the process of witnessing a historical streak of scoring that no one else has done before is really special.
Yeah, he's one of the most impressive scorers I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely there. Ben, you have any more that you want to share?
Well, I was gonna share the January 29th battle between Con Knipple and Cooper Flag, where both of those guys, who are, of course, we're going to talk about soon for our Rookie of the Year thing, had big games in that one. Like, Cooper Flag had like 49 points, I believe, in it. And then Concaniples coming right back, knocking down, just a good amount of 3-point shots, scoring like 38, 39 points. Like, that was a good game. That was close. It came down to the wire. That was just one of the more funner games of the season for me. It was just fun to see those, rising stars as rookies breaking out in that game. And they were both, college roommates and teammates at Duke. That was another part of just what made it, a good story out of that game.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see another rookie head-to-head matchup where one of them drops almost 50 points and the other one has a 30 ball. Like, that was definitely a crazy game. And for it to end, I think, with, Khan stealing it from Coop and taking it coast to coast. Yeah, it's like a storybook. College roommates and all that. Crazy. Like I said, I don't know if we'll ever see any of those other Wilts records broken. I don't know if we'll ever see two college roommates 49 and 34 points in a game that ends that way.
Yeah, in their first game against each other. Like, that really is such a cool moment to see that happen. And yeah, next week, a week from today, you guys will get to see who we think will win the Rookie of the Year award between, those two guys. They've been playing so well all season long, historic on both sides. So can't wait to go through that debate and see what we end up picking. And once again, another reminder, make sure to click the link down below to vote who you think will win those awards as well. One of my favorite moments of the season was really a whole day, or really a whole span of time. And it was the day before the trade deadline, the Wednesday, or maybe it was the Tuesday. It was one of the days leading up to the trade deadline, where we had just recorded a podcast, and right after we got the report that, we might be having a swap between James Harden and Darius Garland. And us as Cavs fans who have, it's been an up and down season. It's been a lot better since, the trade. But, we had been used to seeing the core four together for the last several years, and that's kind of all we've really been used to. And in the off seasons, there's been rumors about, hey, is Kobe Altman going to break up the core? And I had never seriously considered that actually being a possibility until those reports came out after that episode. So the whole 24 hours, I'm just like mentally preparing myself and thinking about, like, my goodness, this is actually crazy. This could really be about to happen. What is these last few years meant for Garland, for the Cavs, for all these different things? How's it been? What will it be like if we actually make this decision? James Harden wanting to come to Cleveland. Like, it was just such a mind-blowing experience that day to prepare for the actual news that the trade had gone down. And now, so far, it's a big win-win for both sides. Garland's played great for the Clippers. Harden has been exactly what the Cavs have ordered. And, now we'll see how it turns out in the playoffs. But that stretch where it was reported and then we're all just thinking, like, man, this is actually going to happen, was just really a surreal experience and something I'll never forget.
Yeah, it was surreal for me. I did put on my favorite moments list that, when James Harden got here to Cleveland, it's cool seeing him like really embrace it. He seemed like quite happy to be here. I wasn't too sure what Harden was like thinking with going to Cleveland. I was guessing when the trade happened he was excited, but he was enjoying being on the Clippers. But the Clippers just decided to trade him and move on from him and get younger. But it's been cool, seeing just Harden now having fun here with Donovan Mitchell. They seem, have a great connection from their Adidas stuff before that, has been able to work on the basketball court and worked okay with chemistry at times. And it's been fun, to just see him help the bigs get the ball more and stuff, and it's going to be a big thing I'll be watching for in the playoffs. Could Harden really, get some nice passes down low to the bigs and really get and utilize it going on offense. But Harden, he seemed to have a good attitude here, and I'm just happy with no problems. Same with Dennis Schroeder. It's been fun seeing him, another veteran brought in, embrace and enjoy being on the Cavs. So I think it's a good sign that the Cavs are a good, well-ran organization for right now.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun, and we'll see how it turns out in the playoffs. You guys have any other moments that you guys want to share?
I couldn't think of any others. I tried to rack my brain, and when I got down to it, I think I picked my favorites.
Ben, you have any other ones?
Man, I had a few more. I mean, LeBron, he still became the all-time wins leader over Kareem this year. I mean,
Against the Cavs.
LeBron fan.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it was against the Cavs, not the
It's
best
hilarious.
field game.
No, but it's just cool. That's cool
But it's just
that it worked
cool.
out like that.
It's just cool with him being one of my, favorite players and stuff, and it's quite big history, so that's why still another favorite moment and just recent moment.
Yeah,
What else you got,
absolutely.
Ben? I know you. There's a couple more in there. What else you got in the chamber?
I mean, the Jason Tatum, coming back story. That was quite impressive how he came back so quickly, and he's played well on the court with coming back from that Achilles injury. Like Jason Tatum's, he's really impressed me with that. And earlier in the year, I was down in the Celtics. I regret not having them, not even making the play back
I think
then.
we all do.
But well, you guys had them in the play at least, but wish it was higher. Yeah, everybody. It's true, but
Ben, you're just exposing yourself. None of us actually remember where you had them in the preseason.
surprised me, just how their year's gone, and it was a cool moment how Tatum recovered quickly, and now they're somehow back to being able to compete for a title this year. But hopefully the Cavs knock them off though. Still,
Yeah, us as big Cavs fans here. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna mention some of the prediction stuff from earlier in the season and just how some things have gone, great. Like Ben, you got the Spurs and the Pistons right. You were very high on them. They've played better than I think any of us, even yourself, could have expected, being two of the three top teams in the entire NBA. And then there's some on the opposite end where we came into the season. I remember when we did the Southwest Division preview when we had Jackson on here. And Jackson and Nick were making the case that the Dallas Mavericks, that there was basically no way that they couldn't compete for a title this season. And it never even got from the first day. It was terrible. So that was I thought that was funny. Obviously the Clippers I got wrong because their roster looks completely different, even though they're in the plane and they picked it up. We'll see what happens with the Hawks. Because I know I was super high on the Hawks going into the season. Their roster looks a lot different as well, but they might be more suited to what I was thinking earlier in the season with a Pacers-like sort of team from last year that, who knows, depending on their bracket, we could be seeing another one this year. I would not put that past the Hawks at all, but the Bucks at 12 for myself, getting that, pretty close, was fun. But all of us have had, our own fun predictions. Like I think most of us, maybe Ben and I, were both on the train that the Warriors were going to be better than the Lakers. Or I know that was me.
I didn't have the Warriors better than the Lakers. I actually did good with the Warriors. I'm proud of myself. I somehow had them as the 9th seed.
I think I had them low too.
Right above them at the 8th seed.
Yeah, true. I was pretty high on that. But again, they did have a bunch of injuries. They were actually pretty fine before injuries happened. I wish we could have seen what would happen with, a Curry, Butler, Porzingis, big three with Draymond and their role players that have gotten experience this year. If they decide to keep that next year, I think they, could have a decent year again if those guys are healthy. But, overall, just a super fun regular season. And now going down to the final week, our last two episodes where we're looking at our tier list. our awards show, and then it's on to postseason basketball, where we will be back with the daily recaps of all the games, full-on breakdowns. I can't wait. It's the best time of year. Of course, we got the Final Four in college basketball also going on with the championship. You guys have any thoughts on that before we get out of here?
Me and Ben both picked it wrong, but he's ahead of me, so clap it up for Ben.
I mean, Michigan, who we did pick to win the national championship, both of us is still in it and still could maybe win it all. We at least get that right, even though, I mean, if Michigan does win it, I'll be okay because I do root for Ohio State, but it's good for my bracket. They do win it, but and should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the games are good, close, and competitive. The end of year strong in college basketball.
For sure. But that's it for us here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, make sure to click the link down below to vote for the 2026 Run in the Paint Podcast Awards.
Let us know your favorite moments of the season if we didn't mention them.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe for more NBA content. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.